looked at me strangely.
All right. It looks like Dexter is telling us that we are live, my friends. So welcome everyone to another episode of Collective Conversations down here at the Cave Collective. We are currently sitting in our venue at 406 5th Street. We do have the coffee bar up and running, tremendous beverages available for purchase, including bottled water.
Yeah.
Kiran was feeling very creative today. My name is Mary Hahn. I serve as the president of the board at the Cave Collective. Most of what I do is talk to people, and that's about it. I really don't have qualifications beyond that, but it's always my pleasure to be down here and to work with the young people who utilize this space as their safe space, as their study space, whatever they need it to be for the day. At the Cave Collective, we host a variety of events from book clubs to heavy metal shows. We have comedy nights, we have improv, we have slam poetry, we have open mic nights, we have upcoming karaoke nights that will be launching here. We'll have some more information about that at the end. But this evening's Collective Conversation is actually the culmination of our Collective Conversation series for the time being. We ran these for the duration of the pandemic, and now that summer has come to a close, we're launching into some other programming at the Cave Collective, and so we may only be having Collective Conversations once per month from here on out, but make sure you stay tuned on our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and our website, www.thecavecollective.org. We'll have our calendar updates, and you can tune in there. So tonight I'm being joined by my friends who I believe I met through the Cave Collective, but I honestly don't remember because it feels like I've known them forever. So I'm going to give them a minute to introduce themselves, and then we'll just kind of launch into this discussion about being a young person in Rapid City and the types of things that they're involved in outside of their school and within it.
Yeah, so my name is Kieran Kelly. I am a senior at Central this year, which is really weird because we went into COVID my sophomore year, and now I'm a senior, and I'm convinced that all of my junior year was still my sophomore year, but it wasn't. Yeah. So I'm pretty involved around town. I do a lot of stuff with the school, a lot of stuff with the Cave. I'm involved with the U City Council, so I stay pretty busy.
I am Hunter Herzog. I just graduated from Stevens last year, and now I attend BHSU. I do a lot of stuff, too. I help with the Cave a lot. I help with U City Council. I do a lot of volunteer projects around town. Anytime I see a volunteer project anywhere, I just want to get in and do it just because I'm bored all the time. But yeah.
But that's such an important thing to point out. One of the reasons that I've gotten to know both of you so well over the course of these last few months since the Cave Collective has opened in this location is because you're like, we need things to do. We're always looking for things to do. What is there to do in Rapid City? Oh, here's the Cave Collective. How do we get involved? And so you two have kind of turned into, I don't know, I feel like there's this weird, whenever I need something done, I'm like, Hunter! and Hunter always comes through. And it's just super awesome to have that sort of energy come into the space that's like an invested and helpful energy. And it's something that I really appreciate about both of you is that when I have an idea and I hand it off to you, you just run with it. And when you have an idea and you bring it to me, we're able to make some really magical things happen, like Plus Prom. Yeah. You guys should talk about Plus Prom.
It was cool. Yeah, here, Kieran, go ahead.
I got to make a playlist. It was super awesome. Okay, so
well.
Plus Prom was a prom. Originally, the idea was to have a prom designated for kids in different age groups. First of all, freshmen can't go to prom unless you're invited by an upperclassman, and normally that's 1 to 3 people a year. And so it was just a way for people of any age group, if you missed out on your prom your senior year, you could still come. And it was especially for LGBTQ plus folk who maybe don't feel comfortable going to the actual prom. But yeah, I got to make a playlist, and everyone loved my playlist, so.
Yeah, a lot of people like the playlist.
One of my favorite things about the playlist was that Kieran made the statement during the prom, I'm not going home until I hear the Macarena. And so knowing that it was on the playlist and also having hired the DJ that was working, I made sure that the Macarena did not play until 10:50 at night. So Kieran was just here, and I was like, yay. But it was a great turnout. We had a ton of kids show up. We had people who were hadn't gone to a prom before and who were just excited to see a place that was like decorated and just felt like it had been designed with them in mind. And I thought it was just so much fun to like, I got to chaperone it, and so it was like being a teenager again.
There was also cheesecake. I
got to
cheesecake.
take the cheesecake home.
Yes. Fork Reel Cafe donated like hundreds of mini cheesecakes to us for this event, and so they dropped them off. And I had them in my fridge leading up to the event, and it was really hard to not break into them early, but I didn't, but I wanted to, and my kids tried to talk me into it, but I resisted. So thank you. I'm very proud of myself. But that was just like an example of one of the events that we've been able to kind of connect on and put together. Both of you mentioned Youth City Council. So can you tell me a little bit about how you got involved in Youth City Council, what that looks like or looked like for you, and the sorts of projects that you've worked on within the City Council?
Yeah, so actually, I found out about Youth City Council in the school announcements, which not very many people read or hear, but I get really bored in class, and I don't like to sit and stare at a computer screen all the time, so I read the announcements for fun, like 5 times a day, even though they're the exact same announcement. But Youth City Council was in the school announcements, and I was like, that sounds pretty cool. I got into politics and civics and everything when I lived in Florida, because in 7th grade, civics was a required class, and I didn't know much about city government, so I was like, that'd be something cool to try out, and I applied, and I got in, so yeah.
I'm technically not on the Youth City Council, but I was, and I'm a founding member. So basically, what we do is we're like the regular city council, but for kids. And
Wow.
yeah, so people will come to us. That's how Kiran and I got into the cave, is because the cave came and talked to the Youth City Council, and we're like, wow, that sounds like a cool place. We should head on down. That was like a year ago.
It was so long ago.
Yeah.
They are literally here every day, like before me.
Just
But
sitting in the parking lot.
with Youth City Council, what sort of, how do you interact with the city? Do you hold sway over certain decisions that the actual city council is making? What sort of like governing authority are you, and what sort of projects do you invest your time in within city council, other than being at the Cave Collective, where you're very well appreciated?
We don't have too much of a say. We do make memorandums and everything. So when there was the mask debate going on, we had a memorandum for that. That was actually the most fun I've had at one of our meetings, because we all had on like Santa hats and reindeer antlers, and we were all debating about a very important topic to us. So we're all sitting there, and at the end of the meeting, Kristen and Lance are just over in a corner cackling at the fact that we all had reindeer antlers on. But that was a really fun meeting. So we do get to make memorandums, and we do different activities around the city. So we've participated in memorial walks and stuff like that.
That's really cool. And I remember hearing the story of the mask memorandum that you drew up. I still haven't read it. One of your Youth City Council members said they'd email it to me, and I'm still waiting with my fingers crossed, because I'm very excited.
You should definitely remind them, because
Yeah.
we all get really busy.
I know, don't we all? I'm actually just now remembering it myself. But it sounded like it was just a really cool opportunity for discourse, because it sounded like you had members of Youth City Council who were coming from different sides of the topic and just really trying to structure the conversation in a way that would lead to an outcome that was amenable and good for everyone, and like the best thing moving forward. And I think that's really important to recognize, and important also down here at the Cave, is that there are people who represent a variety of backgrounds and a variety of perspectives, and like working together to find a common way forward and make progress in the city despite having differing opinions can be a really powerful tool. And I think that that's something that you're probably learned on Youth City Council really well, is like how to work with people who might disagree with you.
Yeah, so a lot of the adults that come into our meetings seem to be really surprised when we're having debates, because we're pretty civil. We don't really feel like there's a reason to argue with each other and freak out over a topic. So we wait in turn and we press our buttons, and if we disagree with someone, we're like, hey, I disagree with you, here's my side, like, can you elaborate on your side? And our discussions can get pretty long, but they're never, like, no one's ever really arguing or fighting with one another, like you occasionally see in other meetings.
Yes, I'm giggling just because I think it's I'm laughing honestly because I'm sad, right? Because it's like you look at some of the grown-up meetings that happen and you wish that people could be as civil and as respectful and as open to discourse as the youth city council is, but instead oftentimes we see, as is true of many spaces, the young people setting the example and leading the way, which is great, and which is something that the Cave Collective is all about, is like youth-driven community center. Like, we want the young people in charge because we think that you guys know how to do it best, and have the vision to carry things forward, right? Whereas even for me, I consider myself young still, but like I pulled out a gray hair on the way over here and I was like, my God, no, they're everywhere. And I just can't stop them. And like,
You're young, Mary.
I am, well, I was just told to dye my hair by Kiran.
Shave your head.
Also shave my head. But being 30, like, I'm on my way out of being cool, and I don't think I was ever actually cool to begin with. So, like, recognizing that the people who come into the cave and who are young people often have ideas that might seem, like, ridiculous to me, or they might seem really out of left field, where I'm like, whoa, are you sure we can do that? And then they find ways to do it, and it's really cool. And I think you get to do some of that with Youth City Council, too, where you're just like, let's try this. And the people are like, we've never done that before. And you're like, exactly. That's why we need to do it. So that's cool. But tell me about, so you're in your senior year, you're in your freshman year of college. How has that transition been for you, Hunter, as you graduated in the midst of a pandemic, worked all summer, and now you're like at classes and, oh no, the pandemic is coming back?
Yeah, I worked my junior year. The summer after junior year, I worked 2 jobs, and then towards the end of the year, the end of the summer, I did 2 jobs, and then school, and then Youth City Council, and a bunch of other volunteer work. That was insane. But graduating during a pandemic, it wasn't that bad. It was like, I feel like it was regular, just with masks, which is becoming the regular a little bit. We had to do virtual sometimes. I don't know. I've already grown accustomed to it because I've been like, it's been a part of my education as I'm like learning what an education is. So I'm like, oh, okay, this might happen sometimes. You know, a worldwide pandemic might happen every once in a while. We'll see. Yeah, and I'm not really a college freshman. I'm only taking gens this year at BHSU. So next year I'll be a college freshman when I move out.
Oh, I see. Yeah. And are you still working right now?
Yes.
Okay. Because your job, you work with the elderly population. Is that correct?
Yes, I do.
How? That felt like a court question. Yes, I do. Affirmative. Absolutely. The council is correct.
I legally cannot say much about them personally, but I will talk about them very generally.
Yeah, I was just going to ask how you, how do you view that work that you do, which we won't list the place or anything like that, but in regards to the pandemic, how this city has handled the pandemic, like, what are your thoughts, and have you had any conversations with the elderly population that you work with about their feelings or their thoughts, or do you not have a whole lot of opportunity to converse with them?
No, what's funny is during the pandemic, we had to become, when they all had to start social distancing, that suddenly became our job with them, became a lot more personal, because then we'd be like their only social outreach. They'd be like, oh, I have to talk to this teenage kid to see what the world is like. And that's cool, because I became friends with a lot of elderly people that I don't think I would have like gotten close to. I've learned so many life stories. I'm like, wow, you guys are freaking cool. And yeah, during the pandemic, they really did not enjoy having to be like alone, which is, that makes sense. I think everybody got through that. And they're doing better now that it's almost over. But they really didn't enjoy it. They complained all the time, but they kind of kept their mouth shut like we all did.
Yeah. With the Youth City Council, I know maybe both of you helped plan the senior prom over a couple years ago. Maybe, Kiran?
Wait.
Maybe not.
Senior prom a couple years ago.
Oh, no, that
was before your time?
No, that was, I did do that a little bit. It was more Grace Dodds.
Okay.
Grace Dodds did it a lot. Yeah, that's senior prom.
Sorry, not senior in high school. Senior as an elderly citizen of society.
That was a weird transition, Mary.
No, I'm just thinking of, I think a lot about like intergenerational bridges, right? Where young people have the opportunity to talk with older people. And I think especially when technology has kind of reached the point that it has now, where it's really, really hard for generations that are older to even catch up or like get familiar with the apps that young people use to communicate these days, or do even video calls. I know for my grandmother, like that was a big thing for her to learn during the pandemic, was like how to use Zoom. And so when I think about the ways that you two have had opportunities to kind of bridge intergenerational gaps and learn from generations older than you, whether through your involvement in the political sphere or youth city council or even at your job, what are some of the, I guess, what would you say are some of the most valuable things that you've learned through your relationships with and your networking with older generations? And how would you recommend people find that or learn how to do that better?
You have to be willing to like listen to other people talk. Even if you don't necessarily agree with them, just listen to their side first and you can explain your side. If neither of you are going to change your side, there's really no point in arguing about it. Just drop the conversation.
I agree, 100%. It's important to be open-minded, I think.
Yeah. I think even for, I mean, probably for the older people that you talk to, it's like super important for them to feel like they've either passed along some wisdom or like passed along a story that like someone else is going to kind of hold for them now. And so I think that's really cool. And I've always liked that about when you talk about your job, just the interactions that you have with some of the people there. And I'm like, oh, I wish I had been your age doing that kind of work, because I think I probably would have learned a lot of valuable lessons like ahead of time. But that's really cool.
Sometimes I really don't like my job, but I think the biggest thing keeping me there is like the people, because they're freaking cool and they love me and I love them.
Sometimes I forget I'm learning valuable lessons.
That's excellent. And you just got a new job, right, Kiran?
Yeah.
Where can we find you working these days?
You can find me at Silver Lining. It's at the ice cream place downtown. Super awesome. They have maple bacon ice cream. Anything that has bacon in it is immediately good. I love maple bacon stuff. It's so good. Go to Silver Lining. Thank you.
What if it's a peanut butter and bacon ice cream?
No.
That's really good.
Listen, I have a thing against peanut butter. If you know the Pavlovian theory, when I was a kid, I would eat peanut butter whenever I was sad. And Mary knows this because I've told this story before. I would eat peanut butter whenever I was sad. And now peanut butter reminds me of sadness, and I cannot eat it without getting really sad. No, it does not. It tastes like depression.
I just like that for once peanut butter is not the subject of an argument due to allergies, but simply because Kiran made herself
because
sad.
Of bad association.
I just felt like you needed to share that on a recording live stream for all
Is that why
the
you asked,
edification of
Mary?
all people. I did.
You just wanted that to be recorded?
I
Okay.
did. So when you said you're doing your generals right now at BHSU, and you've mentioned a couple classes that you're taking in your senior year, including, but not limited to,
Yes.
criminal
so
justice.
I have Intro to Criminal Justice and General Psych, dual enrolled with WTT this semester, and then next semester I have Fundamentals of Speech.
So what are you learning so far in the one day that you've had those classes?
So we just got past the syllabus. So in Intro to Criminal Justice, I love that class. It's awesome. Everything that he tells you is on the exam, and it's word from word, and it's perfect. It's not like any other high school class where I have to cry when I try to study. It's all word from word. So it was just a lot of note-taking. At one point, the professor was explaining the difference between burglary and theft, which was really entertaining because he used a girl's laptop as the example. So you watched our professor take her laptop and run off, and that was really funny.
That sounds great. What are some, as you've worked through kind of the upper levels of high school and through your own high school career, what were some things that you utilized for study tactics or helpful tools for getting through your classes? And please don't say cheating, because I really, really like both of you
That
at
too.
this point.
I did not study, and I somehow got like educational achievement awards from the school. So
But you read a lot.
not about school.
But you don't do study it. You just read books.
I don't really. I've studied like twice.
Listen,
Once was for 5th grade.
I tried to study an AP Chem, and I barely passed that class. I cannot study.
Look,
I can memorize things really easily, but I can't memorize through studying.
the
It
moral,
doesn't work for me.
the moral of the story is not don't study.
Please don't listen
we
to him.
just no.
Study.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. but neither of us studied, and we're both like a very high achieving people. But you should study.
I got a 2 on my AP English exam.
That's irrelevant.
So I'm feeling less and less intelligent as I sit here with both of you, since I have a decade on you, and I'm pretty sure you both know a lot more than I do. But studying aside, you've managed to pass classes and survive high school, which is great. Good job. Do you have any advice along with, study that you would pass along to people who are maybe not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel of high school at this point?
Do not take organic chem. If it is offered to you, don't take it. It's not worth it. Don't even go down that career path. It's not worth it. Science,
That is an
you don't
opinion.
need it.
That is an opinion. Do not listen to it if you like organic chem. That is okay. I'd say make like academic friends, because I didn't like to study, but I'd go and hang out with my friends, and we would just talk about school. Like, we wouldn't like study, but that we'd have a class in common. Be like, man, wasn't that thing we talked about in class so cool? And I'd be like, what? And then they'd remind me, and that was my own weird, fun way of studying, if that makes sense.
Join an extracurricular activity. It doesn't matter which one. If you're into it, join it. I don't really recommend joining like 30 of them unless that's what you're into, and then go for it. But definitely join an extracurricular activity. I definitely recommend theater. If you're going to Central, our season reveal is next Thursday, so you can go there after school. It's in the new theater.
Kiran has been fortunate enough to partake of Central High School's theater department, and it makes me insanely jealous because I graduated from Stevens in 2008, and all I wanted for high school every year at Christmas, I just wanted to transfer to Central because Justin Speck and Joey Lore. Hi, guys. And we just love that program so much, and so your involvement with theater is, I think, one of the main reasons that you and I connected, because we were like, oh my God, we can sing musicals together, and everyone else started crying. But it was great. So did you do that all 4 years?
Yeah, so this is going to be my 4th year. I actually just made it into the audition class for Drama 4, so I'm really excited for that. But yeah, this is going to be my 4th year of theater at Central. Go to the season reveal. It's next Thursday right after school in the new theater.
So extracurriculars like that are places where you kind of build your friend circle, right? And you build your community. And as Hunter was saying, like, sometimes you meet friends who are just more adept at studying than you are, and maybe can help you understand classes or help you talk through some things if taking notes isn't really your thing. Have you relied pretty heavily on a friend circle or friend circles to like get through high school?
If you're a teacher and you're watching this, you didn't hear what I'm about to say. We have group chats for every class, all of them. Basically, if you're in an AP class, there's a group chat for that AP class, and you will discuss everything in the group chat. And then if you have a discussion in class, you don't say a word. But we do have group chats, and those are very helpful, and those definitely help if you want to meet up with someone outside of that class. Normally, we just end up at a coffee shop, and now we have the cave, so that's pretty cool. There's coffee here.
Kiran is a lot more outgoing than I am, which I try to be outgoing. But I would seriously rely on just like sitting next to a person in class, and I just happen to talk to him, and then I would use that person and just outreach everything. I met Claire Bernard, and now I only know Claire Bernard's friends. And so, because she talked to me, I'm like, okay, Claire Bernard, I guess this is what we're doing.
And if Claire is watching, we love Claire also. She was a founding member of our youth
Claire,
leadership committee here at the Cave, and we miss her so much. But yeah, I totally feel that. And I experienced kind of the same thing when I went to high school. I had been homeschooled up until high school, and so I literally had no friends. I didn't know anybody other than my brothers, and I was really over them at that point. And so I started my freshman year, and I was like, oh my God, there's other humans in the world. What is happening in this classroom? And granted, this was 2004, so y'all were like 1 year old. I can't do math either, sorry.
You're right.
But it was super important for me. Like, I made that one connection, and then all of a sudden, like, I had a group of people to sit with at lunch. And I think about some of my nieces and nephews who are more maybe introverted or just less socially inclined, and like going into high school has always been a super hard transition for them, because they're like, oh no, like, how am I going to make friends? And it's exactly what you said. Like, you need to make that one friend. Like, just make a friend, and then everything else kind of falls into place. Like,
that is easier said
you
than
connect
done.
with one person and it can happen. or you come down to the cave and we connect you with a person and it happens.
Yeah, that works
So-
too. You should come on down.
I have questions for you. You said you were homeschooled before high school?
Yes, Kieran, I was.
Have you ever seen Mean Girls?
I have seen Mean Girls.
Did you exist, and did you live the plot of Mean Girls?
I was
Say yes.
never trying to be in the Mean Girl community, nor did I know if there was one at Stevens. I wasn't even at that tier of social level to know if the Mean Girls existed at my school. But I would say it is a fairly similar plot to the point that, like, my brothers and I call each other and leave voicemails using only lines from that movie because they're applicable.
Such a good movie.
It really is. It really is. Thank you
And
for that
musical.
question. That felt very personal and personable.
You asked me about my peanut butter
Personable.
thing. I'm going to call you out too. It's only fair.
It is fair. We're all about fairness here at the Cave. Equity.
Yeah.
So what else do we have coming up that you guys are excited about at the Cave Collective or in Rapid City?
My mind's just going to go blank.
There's we're planning. We're planning another prom, another dance. not a
Yeah, we
prom.
are.
We're
I'm going to
planning-
make another playlist.
We're planning another dance. It's gonna be a spooky October one for Halloween. It's gonna be pretty cool. That's as far as we've gotten.
Yes, we are
Please.
going to have another event similar to the Plus Prom, but for Halloween it's going to be the what did they name it?
Spooktober?
Spooktoberfest.
I'm pretty
That's
sure
right.
we stole that from Disney Channel.
Sure. Disney won't know.
They don't need to
Hopefully.
know.
But regardless, be watching for an announcement about that. It's going to be another youth-centered event that's going to be happening here at the Cave on Halloween weekend. Because Halloween is on Sunday this year, and y'all know you need something to do on Saturday night. So
Sleep.
we'll be here dancing to playlists made by Kieran, which will probably have a lot
The
of...
Monster Mash. Also,
Calling All the Monsters by China and McLean.
Time Warp, but the version from Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. If you haven't seen that show, watch it. It's on Netflix.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're so full of recommendations.
Just do what you want. You
Also,
don't have to watch.
There's tutoring here now. So
yeah,
that's
tell us about the
swag.
tutoring.
There's a tutor, I think, every weekday from like 3 to 6-ish, around that time
4 to
period.
6.
The tutors on Monday are super duper cool, in my opinion. They're super awesome. I wouldn't say they're the brightest tools in the shed,
Okay.
but
All
the
right.
Brightest tools in the shed. Talk about a mixed metaphor. Wow. I think you're the brightest tool in the
I
shed.
had my dual enrollment
So
classes
we are the
today. Give me
tutors
a
on
break.
Monday. Karen
Yeah.
and I are the tutors on Monday.
But tutoring is an important thing that we're launching down here at the Cave
That was
Collective,
not
and
a
it's
good
something.
first impression for anyone who wants to get
That's
tutored.
all right. You both can be the
guess
brightest
so.
crayons in the box.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That one is applicable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But tutoring, like they said,
More than
is
yours.
Monday through Friday. We have tutors down here from 3:30 until around 6 p.m. And there's always someone on duty to help you with whatever you may need, and it's all free. So, like, we have math tutors and science tutors and English tutors and history tutors and social sciences tutors. And the guy that just walked out here, if you saw him on our live stream, his name is Joseph. He's a lawyer, and he tutors literally everything. Like, he sent me a list of what he can tutor, and I was like, I can't even fit all of this into one intro post, so I'm just going to smash it. And it worked.
He's,
He's
very
pretty- yeah,
swag.
he's
He
pretty
does
cool.
law and philosophy.
That's
Very
freaking
swag.
sick.
Yeah. So if you have any schoolwork that you're struggling with, or you just want to get connected with someone to get ahead in some classes, come on down and we'll get you connected to a tutor who's able to walk with you through what it means to study and
Oh.
and pass your classes and do well in school.
I failed Spanish too.
Well,
but
we won't have
I
you tutor
only
Spanish.
failed organic
that's good.
chem, so please don't ask me for help with science. I can do everything
I had to drop
else.
pre-calc, so don't ask me for math.
We won't.
Okay.
I think all
I was
three of us
good.
up here are not the people you need to ask for math or science
I
questions.
used to
Actually-
be.
But we have those people for
I'm
you.
really good at math.
I used to be in a talented and gifted group for math in elementary school, and then I got
was
dumb.
Just in a talented and gifted group in general, and then they realized that I can't read. But I'm good at English.
She still can't read.
Well, that's okay. Speaking of reading, tell us about book club, Hunter.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but then I forgot. So I don't know. There's a book club down here at the cave. Me and Mary are part of it, and some other people. There's a lot of people I don't know all their names, but
That's okay. There are a lot of them.
yeah, we just got finished reading this freaking cool book about this kid with schizophrenia, and he's on a ship, and it's like a metaphor. It's all a metaphor. It's freaking cool. I don't know what we're gonna read next. Mary is thinking. I think she's thinking if I'm getting the same brain waves here. Let me The one.
Song of Achilles.
No, not that one. That's not the brain. I think it's the one where it's like they both die at the end.
No,
Not that one?
no.
Okay, well, we're going to read a
Is
book.
it Song
We
of
are
Achilles?
launching a new book club next Tuesday at 4 p.m. and we'll be having a secondary book club meeting because Tuesdays at 4 p.m. obviously don't work for everyone.
Yeah.
And so, if you're interested in joining book club but Tuesdays at 4 p.m. don't work for you, you should email me or just Facebook me. My name is Mary Hahn, and we're going to set another scheduled time for a book club meeting during the week so that we can kind of move through it together but have a couple different meetings that work with people's schedules, which will be very important and useful.
Yes.
So
Hi.
hit us up. We want you to
Yeah,
read with
Mary.
us.
Tuesdays at 4 p.m. don't work for me, Mary.
You don't
I
read.
don't think you're in book club. Mary,
I
now would be
if I could.
now would be a great time to reveal what the next book is. If you're advertising
No,
it,
don't
they
need to
deserve to
Don't
know.
tell them.
It's already been published on Instagram and Facebook, Hunter, if you were paying attention.
Haha. I was just testing you, Mary.
I made the graphic, Hunter.
Well,
I think I saw that post actually.
I might need
That's
to
all right. You can review.
I might need to go check that out.
So let's talk about karaoke. Kieran, what do you love about karaoke?
Everything, man. It's so fun.
Kieran's very good at
Karaoke's so
singing.
cool. I love to sing. I may not be super good at it, but it's
No, you are.
very fun. And karaoke makes it even more fun. Even though sometimes with karaoke tracks they sound weird and you can't hit the right notes, everyone can do karaoke. Drunk people at bars, kids at their like 8th birthday parties when their parents decide to give them a karaoke birthday party and they decide to be a really mean 8-year-old and they don't let anyone else use the microphone.
Are you projecting?
Was this
No.
you? Was this you at your 8th birthday party?
I had a birthday party where everyone else got cupcakes and I got a whole cake. And that same birthday party, they had built me a stage and gave me a karaoke machine, and no one else was allowed to do karaoke.
This
except
explains
me.
a
feel like-
lot. This explains so much right now.
Mary, you
I
have no
really
clue.
like.
I was only a psychology major for like 1 year. So that makes me not a psychologist, just as a disclaimer.
I
But
took
now
AP
I understand
psychology,
Kieran
and I
after
consider
that
myself
story.
a
I'm
psychologist.
kind of worried about what that means, but okay. It was a fun birthday party. I do
It
feel
was a
bad when I see
fun
the
birthday
photos
party.
because it's like photos of like 5 other like girls standing behind me, and I'm just like having a ball, like holding the microphone, staring at the screen. All the other girls are behind me, like.
It was your
So,
birthday.
Exactly.
Speaking of excluding other people from
Whoa.
enjoying their time
whoa.
at your
Wait a
birthday
minute.
party, what are some ways that
is not
each
what
of
we're about here
you
at the cave.
what are some ways that each of you actively work to provide inclusion in this community? And what are some ways that you think this community could get better at being an inclusive community? Let's hear your ideas.
Fun fact, I force people to be my friend. And if
That
you
is
don't
true.
believe me, you can ask Hunter because
Well-
I did it to him.
Year and a half ago.
If
No.
if people are quiet, I immediately want to be your friend. I will immediately force you to talk to me, and I will continue to do so until you are literally forced to never leave my life.
On a less dominant note, I don't, I don't really include based on like, I include based on like personal things. Like if I see someone and I'm like, I can tell that you're not really having a good time. You don't really know a lot of people here. I don't usually like walking up to people and like talking to them, but I'll do that to someone who I think is like not having a good time for some reason.
He'll
Because
also do it if you have a septum piercing.
I do like people with septum piercings. That's pretty cool. But since I moved here when I was about we weren't supposed to talk about that. I am
No,
a
you-
native Rapid Cityan.
No,
I promise.
hush. You can talk about moving here
I'm
and being
totally
a
from this
transplant.
state.
I moved here from Iowa when I was about 10, and that was a really weird time because I was transitioning from elementary school to middle school, and so all throughout like since 8th grade to like 10th grade, I didn't know anybody. I had like friends on like online, and that was it. And so school was always really weird for me because I couldn't really like sit with anybody or anything. It was kind of spooky. And so now that I do know people, I try to make sure that they are able to not feel that way like I did.
I literally never shut up, so I just make people be my friend. That's why
I
I
know
was a
y-
tour guide this summer.
I know you
People
wanted
pay
like
me to talk to
deeper
them.
deeper answers to that.
No,
Mary,
that was a
but-
great. Those were great answers. And what I heard from Kieran's is that oftentimes, like people who do have more energy, like are able to provide some opportunities for other people to kind of come out of their shell, which is great. And what I heard from you is that like experience is something that breeds empathy, right? And so like having been the kid who kind of felt left out or didn't know where you belonged or whatever has made you sensitive to noticing kids who might be in that same boat now and trying to draw them in, which I think is really important.
Thank
So
you.
good job. So Kieran's going to try out our karaoke equipment tonight after our live stream. We won't make Kieran do it on live
really
stream.
scared for a minute.
But I just
On
wanted to let
live
y'all know
stream.
we
Let's
are
do it now.
launching. We're launching karaoke on Tuesday nights down here at the Cave Collective, and so that's going to be something that we're doing for this school year. So Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. If you're not doing anything else, or even if you are, skip that. Come on down here and sing some karaoke with us, because we're going to be starting that, and we're very excited. And there are some other schedule changes coming up as well with the Cave Collective. Some of them are pretty minor, and some of them are bigger, but you can be looking for our writers group, the Words Are Hard writers group, led by our friend Morgan.
She's so cool.
She is really
Oh,
cool.
she's the
Morgan's
best.
the best.
She
Yeah.
has a lot of Furbies. And she has one that's like super duper long.
They're
like
kind of weird.
The dude
I
from
kind of like them.
the dragon from the Neverending Story, she has a Furby like that.
Yeah.
Furbies are terrifying.
She's a
but the
very
Neverending
creative
Story is
person who
cool.
also really enjoys bugs and was in our book club. And
She sounds like she's a witch. She's not. She's a very nice, friendly college student.
yeah, and she's studying
Which is pretty
education
nice.
at BHSU. And one of the things that she wants to bring to the cave is our writers group. And so they were running at the beginning of summer. They had a couple meetings before the summer hit, and now they're launching again for the fall semester of school. So if you're interested in getting involved in a writers group that is primarily directed at teens, people ages like 12 to 20 basically, you are more than welcome to come down here this Saturday, and then every other Saturday following that at 3 p.m. we'll have Morgan down here. She has prompts, she has activities, she has really fun things for you to do if you just want to explore writing, or if you've been a writer for years and you just want somewhere to get some critiques. That's a great opportunity. We also have this week on Thursday is our Verb Storytelling Collective, which is not live streamed, which is very strange because here at the Cave Collective, especially with the pandemic right now, we live stream literally everything. Like, we have a really cool setup. No one's actually back there running the live stream right now, which is why we're not
We
using
don't
any of the
need
other
to
cool
tell them.
camera angles.
What
I'm
if we're not
explaining.
even? What if we're not even live right now?
Oh, we
We've just
are.
been
I'm
talking.
watching it on my
Oh,
phone.
okay. That would have been funny.
I'm making sure that we're live.
Let's
But-
redo it again.
I don't have a way to like change to the different cameras, but we have all these different cameras in here to make like really cool and professional live streams. And so it's weird to me that we do have one event every month that we don't live stream at all, and that is our Verb Storytelling Collective. And the point of that is that when we launched Verb Storytelling Collective, it was a joint effort primarily run by Natalie Slack, who serves on our board of directors here at the Cave. And it was a place for stories to be told in an intimate, private setting in a way that almost makes those stories feel sacred. And so they're all personal narratives that range from like 5 to 10 minutes in length. And you're hearing a story that maybe no one's ever, like, it might be something that this person's never shared before. It might be a story they've told 100 times, and it just has you laughing your butt off the entire time. But it's just a really important event, and we do it every month on the first Thursday of the month. So if you're here this Thursday at 7 p.m., you'll get to hear some really incredible stories. You're also welcome to bring a story if you want to share your own. It can be 3 minutes, it can be 10 minutes, whatever you want to share, and this is kind of just a safe space to do that. Tonight, right now, I know we have our board game night going on. That launches at 6:30 on Tuesdays, and so I can like see people wandering in for that right now, which is really encouraging and just a fun kind of, I don't know, easy way to get to know people, because you're playing a game. You might be learning the game for the first time and meeting some new friends, or it might be a game that you've heard of before. So it's just a way to build community around a table of board games and have fun in that regard. Tomorrow night is open mic night, and that is always a blast down here at the Cave.
It's so much fun.
It really
so
is.
Cool.
I love being down here for open mic because we hear people who have performed for like the last 20 years and they love to perform, and then we hear people who've never been on a stage before and they're like trying it out for the first time. So
And they're so good.
I know, they're always so good. Like, no matter what it is, and my mind is just blown because I have none of that talent, and that's because they
That's not
hoarded
true,
it all.
People are swag, and the Cave is swag, and you should come
Mary,
every
you're swag.
single night. Every night. You have to come every night.
Except for Sundays, because no one's here on Sundays, and that would be
Yes.
real sad if you were all by yourself.
You can sit on the
Well-
stairs outside.
Yeah, people do that.
I do that occasionally.
That's
Okay.
true.
Not on Sundays, though.
Regardless, what we're getting at is just that you should check out our schedule of events at the Cave
Or
Collective.
Come on down.
Because the whole point of the Cave is like providing a space that really wasn't in existence in Rapid City for a long time. There wasn't really a safe, sober venue for young people to hang out and to build friendships and to engage with their community and to dream up crazy ideas like plus prom and playlists and whatever else.
This is like the cool Disney Channel hangout from you. It's like we're like the cast of characters from the cool Disney Channel show would go and hang out, and it'd be like, we gotta go on down to the cave, meet Mary, and Mary comes and serves him coffee, and it's like, hi, Mary.
Every
It's pretty
person who
cool.
comes to the cave is a main character. So if you want to be a main character, you are legally obligated to come to the cave.
You get your own plot line. It's included.
Yeah, and it's so true. If you have ideas for the type of thing you want to see down at the cave, or like a band that you want to bring here, or a club that you want to launch, like we have D&D, we have just all these different ideas that people have come to us with that they're like, I want to do this at the cave, and we're like, cool, do it. And all I have to do is put a post out on social media, and then people show up for these things. So it's just really fun and like encouraging to see people coming into the space, using the space well, and like bringing their ideas and investing in the space.
There's also art galleries.
There's so much cool
There's
art
art
here.
in here,
Oh
and
my
it's really
gosh.
cool. So if you're an art person, obviously you still have to come down.
We
'cause
bought that
this
from
is
At Home.
definitely an
That one
art
doesn't
space.
count.
That one does not count. That was for the plus prom because it
Yeah,
had a plan.
and we just kept it up because it looked
Also,
nice.
fun fact: the plus prom theme was Secret Garden, but I wanted it to be Fairy Tea Party.
We kind of
They vetoed me. Not Mary. Mary didn't veto me.
I don't
Mary's
use
the
the
best.
power of the veto, even though
But-
I'm the president.
The art here is really cool. It's like actually fun to look at, unless like a boring art gallery. It's so imaginative and it's got such cool colors. I'm just an art guy, so I don't know, but it's so cool.
Yeah, this is a cool one. This one is our Black Hills Folklore exhibition. And so our gallery curator, Kylie Myers, is just always on the hunt for really cool art to put up in this space. And so we've only been open down here at the cave for just over 3 months now, but we've had 3 separate exhibitions in this space. And so in
Has it only
June,
been 3 months?
it?
well, we opened at the beginning of May, so I guess 4 months
This is
now.
insane.
Yo, you guys opened when I broke my wrist.
Yeah.
Cool.
Regardless,
broke
we
your
had our first exhibition was called Meraki, and it was art submissions from art students at BHSU. So there were 7 female artists who were featured in our space, and they had a reception and an opening, and they sold art, and it was so much fun. And then our second one was in conjunction with Pride Month, and so we had the Love for All exhibit that went up, and that was just a collection of work from students in the area, and some of them were students who work with Youth and Family Services. Some of them were high school students who were involved with the Cave Collective or with Wavy or with Black Hills Center for Equality, and we just had so much beautiful art up, and now there's this one.
Yeah, this really cool person named Jackson Cheney drew every pride flag, but as a dragon.
It was so cool.
There was a lot
It
of
was
dragons.
a lot of
28.
dragons.
Yeah, man.
28 dragons he drew. And they
Yeah.
were all different colors, and they all represented the different variations of the pride flag.
It
And
was
so there
so
was like
cool.
the trans pride dragon and the just everything. It was so
Everything.
cool.
Too many.
Too many.
Dragons.
But they were really well done. And so now if you haven't seen this exhibition yet, like today is literally the last day of August. So if you want to see the Black Hills Folklore exhibition, which is up right now, you got to get down here sometime soon
Hurry
and
up.
enjoy it.
Come right now.
Get down here and you can see me do karaoke.
Yeah, we're going to be testing that out here in a minute, so
We
that'll
want
be
them to come down,
entertaining.
Karen.
But what do you want to close on, my friends? What are some final thoughts that you have for the community?
How was your day, Mary? Tell us about yourself. You're up here talking to other people so much. Let's
How are you,
let's hear
Mary?
about you. We're interested
Oh.
in you.
Well, I thank you for asking
Yes, of
about my
course.
How
day.
the turns have
My day's been
tabled.
really hard, actually. I have a little 3-year-old that's sick with a cough right now. She's been sick for a little
sorry.
while. And my weekend was spent at my partner's best friend's funeral. And so we lost a really close friend unexpectedly. And one of the things that I love about coming home and being back at the Cave Collective is like not, you don't have to really cover anything up. You can really just be honest about whatever it is you're going through here. And so, especially with the board that I get to serve with, there's 9 of us as adults who serve on the board, and then we also have about 9 young people who serve on our board. And just being honest with each other about where we're at and our emotional capacity to take on different projects at different times has been really cool and encouraging compared to other places that I worked before where, you're supposed to really separate, home life from work life. And the Cave Collective has never felt like work to me yet, and I hope to keep it that way. And so coming in here and just feeling like welcomed and feeling just seen and knowing that we don't have to do anything to hide the struggles that we're going through, but just be honest with each other and talk about what we're dealing with is one of the things that makes this place so powerful, I think. So thank you for asking. It has been
Yeah.
a really hard week.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't mean to make you talk
I wasn't
about
going to
that.
lie to you, so
Fair enough.
thank you for asking. But no, I think that that's important. It's important to recognize that everyone is, as they always say, fighting their own battles, and there are things that we're all going through. And the ways that you shared of like opening up conversations and being open to hearing other people's worldviews, and also including people in conversations where they may feel that they're being left out. I think those are all really important takeaways from this conversation tonight, to be like, this is how we make a better community and a better society, is by kind of opening ourselves up to the people around us.
I think the cave is really nice for a lot of reasons, especially one of them being like what Mary mentioned is like, it's really easy to just be open here. I can just message Mary randomly about like literally anything, and she'll be like, dude, that's so cool. Or she'll be like, dude, that sucks. I'm sorry.
It's
in a
true.
nicer way.
One time I woke up to a picture of, it was like Kieran's knee, but it was a big purple bruise. And
funny.
Kieran had sent it at like midnight the night before, and my phone goes on Do Not Disturb because of teenagers like Kieran.
Well,
And I know that they're going to be messaging me at midnight, and I don't want to be waking up then. And so, because I'm old and lame, because I'm 30 and have gray hair now,
that's okay, Mary.
that I need to dye apparently.
You don't have to diet. I was just suggesting.
But
if
I
you
woke up
wanted.
and the first thing on my phone, like I opened it to turn off the alarm, and it was like Kieran's knee, and it was just this purple bruise in all caps. Kieran's comment like, "Look at my knee, isn't this awesome?" And I was like, "No, that's not awesome, but I'm glad you're okay."
I did a dance workshop over summer with Mr. Speck, and one of our dances had a jump that leads into a roll. And I would land directly on my knee each time, and I practiced the dance a lot every day. And so my knee was very bruised for a very long time, but it was worth it, and it was really fun. So thanks, Mr. Speck, if you're watching this, or if you happen to see this at any point in time.
If anyone can pull off a knee bruise, it's Kieran.
Yeah.
So, but
true.
But I think I get your point that like it's all about building community down here and building friendships where you don't have to fake anything, and it's okay to come in and not be okay, and it's okay to come in and be having a struggle or to be talking through something that's really difficult, because that's what we want to do, is just connect people with resources and connect people to a community that cares about them. So
I feel like a lot of like youth in the area don't really have a person they consider like an adult that they would trust, and like you can definitely find that here. Like I definitely would trust Mary with my life. Absolutely. She seems kind of worried that I say that, but I would. And there's a few other adults, especially like teachers that I really enjoy, but it's nice to find people like that, just like that aren't in the school, because I don't want to latch onto my teachers.
You already do.
Mr. Brooklyn quit.
Mr.
I
Bergman
miss
was
you.
my favorite.
I miss you.
The math department is lonely. I haven't gone in there once this year, Mr. Brooklyn. I haven't even stepped foot in the math department. I don't even know if you're seeing this.
Maybe
can
not yet,
imagine
but we
he
can
is.
tag him in it later.
We can text him.
Your swag.
Well, I'm really grateful that both of you were willing to come on this evening and just have some open and honest discussion about your lives and your work and the Cave Collective and just the things that you're doing in the community, because I think that you're both really good examples of just kind of taking a proactive approach to your life, right? And like where you feel like you're being left out, you find a friend. Where you feel like you're bored, you find something to do. Where you feel like change needs to be made, you get involved. And I think that those are strengths that you both have, and I really admire that about you, because I was certainly not very I was not much of a go-getter when I was 17. We'll just put it that way.
Is there time to tell my life story?
You want to tell your life story right now?
Well, okay.
Hunter, please share. We have
Okay.
6 more minutes.
Okay, so it was around sophomore year. Well, that's not my life. You know what I mean. It's the reason
It's a short life story, Hunter.
I was born into sophomore year. I just popped into existence. No.
Your
Isn't
poor
that
mother.
How Athena worked?
Yeah.
Like Athena just like
Well,
popped
she
out
just came out
Zeus's
of Zeus's
brain.
head because his head got chopped open with an axe, as you do. Anyways,
So Hunter was
Anyways,
born
I
into
was-
sophomore
I
year.
was born into sophomore year, and I was going through a really big depressive state in my life, and I'm like, you know what? I am going to do something, and so I did. There was this one song, this one really old Billie Eilish song, and it's called "Come Out and Play," and it's about encouraging people to like to like just go out and freaking do something to help to help your depression. And that's what got me started with Youth City Council. Youth City Council got me started here. It helped me like lose almost 100 pounds of weight just because I just like in my mind I'm like I should do something.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah, I used
Congratulations.
to be really chubby guy. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I just thought like, man, I should do something, and so I signed up. I saw like the Instagram on Youth City Council. I'm like, I'm gonna do that. I went out and I asked the drama teacher if I could join drama, and then I realized that's not how that works. She's like, you have to just come in when there's a play, and I'm like, oh, and then I just never did that because I have stage fright. But that's irrelevant. So yeah, I don't know. I just went out and did stuff. I don't know where it came from. It just kind of happened.
Doing stuff is like my coping mechanism, not gonna lie. That's why I do 30,000 extracurricular activities a week. I came straight here from cheer after being at school all day, and I have another meeting directly after this, and after I do karaoke. I'm always doing something. But it's nice. I started doing that in like 5th grade. I would pile on different activities and make sure that I was always doing something because it's nice. Summer gets really sucky for me because that's when everything like meeting-wise kind of shuts down. And it's weird, but I love meetings. They're so fun. They're so fun.
Yeah, having a depressive state too, it can make you really tired and not want to do anything. So don't feel like there's a lot of people that understand that. And when it comes to people like me and Kiran who just like do stuff, I mean, that's just how we live, I guess, and like who we are. And you don't have to feel bad for not being able to do something because that's what you're struggling with right now. Maybe one day you will do something if you want to.
There's times I completely cancel my plans for like 3 days in a row because like I'm just too mentally exhausted. And it sucks sometimes, but it's completely valid. Like if you have to do that, do that. Take care of yourself first.
Yeah, I think that's true. You know, being healthy, taking care of yourself can look like getting involved and doing things and accomplishing things and feeling proud of yourself for your involvement. But taking care of yourself can also look like rest and like putting boundaries up and saying no to activities that are going to drain you rather than replenish you. And like those are important things to know. And I'm, like I said earlier, I'm 30 and I'm still learning these things, right? Like setting boundaries is really hard for me, especially when it is something I'm passionate about. Like working down here, I'm just like, I want to say yes to everything. I want to be at the cave every night. But also I have to set like boundaries around my family time and the things that like I want to do outside of this space. And so it's a good lesson for me even now. And so if you're a teenager and you're struggling with, oh, I can never get involved in those things because I'm depressed, maybe it's a period of rest for you. Or if you're a teenager who's involved in everything and you're working yourself to the bone and you're like, man, I wish I could rest, maybe it's a period of learning how to set boundaries for yourself. And like, either way.
I'm in trouble at work. They don't schedule me past like 2 p.m. anymore because I've just had to keep canceling because I'm like, oh, well, I actually have something to do tonight. I am not going to be able to come in. They're like, Hunter, we're just not going to schedule you for evenings anymore. I'm like, that's fair. That's valid.
I can only work weekends. Weekends are the only days that I occasionally don't have something. Every weeknight, I don't get home until like 8:30. It's awesome.
You guys are working yourselves to the bone.
Yeah.
School sucks.
They did not. I didn't learn about my school schedule until the schedule for work had came out, and now I can't work any of the shifts they scheduled me, and they hate me.
Yesterday I learned that I cannot do a pull-up. Actually, I didn't learn that yesterday. I already knew I can't do a pull-up.
If you wanna learn how to do a pull-up with Kieran while doing karaoke,
Kieran probably wouldn't be very helpful.
Come on down to the cave right now. I'm going to ditch this microphone and go push our off button if you guys want to say your goodbyes to our dearly beloved crew.
I'm super good at talking while Mary goes and pushes buttons.
I'm glad you came.
My favorite color is pink.
Well, that's not what we're supposed to be doing, Karen.
I am going to say
we have
goodbye.
To say goodbye.
If you have a favorite color, you should put it down in a comment on something on the cave. In a comment, yeah, on the cave. You can comment on live streams. What's your favorite color?
What's your favorite color?
If you're watching this, what is your favorite color?
My favorite
I will write it down and I will find you and I will give you something that is your favorite color.
Bye.
That sounds creepy. I won't do that. Bye.
Bye.